For centuries, humanity has lifted its eyes toward the night sky, mesmerized by the glittering sea of stars scattered across the darkness. We thought we understood them, burning suns like our own, each with its own rhythm, its own life cycle, its own destiny. We cataloged millions, gave them names, mapped their patterns, and even predicted their deaths. Yet, amid this infinite expanse, something has appeared that doesn't belong. Something that refuses to follow the rules we thought were unbreakable. Astronomers have always expected the universe to surprise us, but what they stumbled upon left even the most hardened scientists speechless. A star, or something that looks like a star that flickers in ways no star should. It pulses with a rhythm that feels almost intentional. It dims and brightens not in years or centuries, but in moments like a cosmic heartbeat, as though the universe itself were alive. At first, many believed it must be a trick of the telescope, an error in the data, a glitch in the endless stream of cosmic noise. But when multiple observatories, across different parts of the Earth, confirmed the same strange pattern, the mystery deepened. This was no accident. Tease was real. Could it be a star, trapped in a cycle we've never witnessed before? A dying sun gasping its last breaths in a way we cannot yet comprehend? Or could it be something more? Something far beyond science's reached. Perhaps even a signal from intelligence older than our civilization, using light instead of words. The thought alone shook astronomers to their core, for in all our searching, in all the millions upon millions of stars catalogued, nothing, absolutely nothing, has ever behaved like this. This is not just another discovery. It is a question etched in light across the canvas of space. A question that could redefine everything we know about the cosmos and about ourselves. So tonight, as we journey deep into this mystery together, prepare to look at the night sky, not as a familiar blanket of stars, but as a stage where the universe performs secrets we are only beginning to understand, because the star, this strange anomaly, might just be the key to unraveling one of the greatest mysteries of existence. Before we dive deeper into this extraordinary journey, take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Together, we'll continue exploring the universe's hidden stories, the ones that leave us in awe, in wonder, and sometimes even in fear. Don't miss what's waiting just beyond the stars. The stars are not silent. They burn, they sing, they die, and they leave behind echoes that travel across billions of years. Yet among this cosmic orchestra, one voice has risen above the rest, a voice so strange, so unexplainable, that scientists around the world are struggling to describe it. This documentary will take you through that mystery, from the history of how we've studied stars, to the science of their lives and deaths, to this one anomaly that refuses to fit into any known category. By the end, you may find yourself questioning everything you thought you knew about the universe and our fragile place within it. When we look up at the night sky, it seems peaceful, still, and eternal. But behind that quiet beauty lies a story billions of years in the making, a story of fire, creation, and cosmic order. Humanity has always been drawn to these lights above, and for thousands of years, they were more than just tiny dots scattered across the black canvas of night. Two ancient civilizations. They were gods, guides, and mysteries beyond comprehension. People built temples aligned with constellations, used the stars as calendars for planting and harvesting, and even navigated vast oceans by their glow. Long before telescopes existed, the human heart knew that the stars were more than decoration. They were beacons of something greater. As science advanced, so too did our understanding. The invention of the telescope in the 17th century was a turning point. For the first time, astronomers realized the stars were not perfect points of light, but immense suns, blessing infernos far larger and more powerful than our own Earth could ever imagine. By the 19th and 20th centuries, with the rise of spectroscopy, scientists began to decode the light of stars. Through their colors and brightness, we could learn their temperature, age, distance, and even what they were made of. It was as if the stars were finally speaking to us, revealing secrets they had carried for eons. Over centuries of patient study, humanity has cataloged millions of stars. We now know that our Milky Way galaxy alone contains more than 200 billion stars, and beyond it there are trillions of galaxies, each filled with their own ocean of suns. The scale is so overwhelming that even today, When we map the skies with the help of advanced telescopes like Hubble and Gaia, we are only scratching the surface. Every star we record is a story, a living object, burning with nuclear fire, shaping the very fabric of the cosmos. And yet, amid this vastness, stars are surprisingly predictable. They live through cycles, almost like living beings. A star is born from a collapsing cloud of gas and dust, igniting its nuclear heart to shine for millions or billions of years. Depending on its size, a star may live quietly like our sun, or burn violently like a massive blue giant. But no matter how different their paths, stars eventually meet an end. Some fade into white dwarf small, quiet remnants of their former glory. Others explode in supernova, scattering heavy elements across the universe, seeding new worlds, and even making life possible. In whyistheskyblue, the most massive stars collapse into black holes, where not even light can escape. This rhythm, the birth, life, and death of stars, being one of the most beautiful and consistent patterns in the cosmos. It gives astronomers a framework, a way to understand what they see. So when we study a star, we expect it to behave in a way that matches this well-established cycle. But as we will soon discover, not every star follows the rules. Somewhere, hidden among millions of suns, a strange object breaks this harmony, challenging everything we thought we knew. For decades, astronomers scanned the heavens with the confidence that the universe, while vast, followed rules. Every star had a cycle. Every flicker of light could be explained. If a star dimmed, it meant dust or gas was passing in front of it. If it brightened, it was burning hotter or releasing a flare. If it pulsed, it was part of a known class of variable stars. The cosmos was mysterious, yes, but it was never chaotic. It obeyed laws we could study, measure, and predict. But then something appeared. It began quietly, almost as a whisper in the data. In 2015, a star known as KIC 8,462,852, or more famously Tabby's star, was observed doing something no star should ever do. Its light dimmed, but not in a smooth, predictable way. Instead, it dipped irregularly, as if something enormous were passing in front of it, blocking its glow. Sometimes the star's light dropped by 10%, other times by 20%, and in rare, dramatic moments, it dimmed by nearly 25%. To put this into perspective, if a planet like Jupiter passed in front of a star, it would only block about 1% of the light. So what could possibly cause such massive unband? At first, scientists suspected faulty equipment. Perhaps the telescope was malfunctioning. But when multiple observatories across the world pointed their instruments at Tabby's star, they saw the same thing. The star was fading, unpredictably, without rhythm or reason. This wasn't just another flickering sun. This was something different. The anomaly sparked worldwide attention. Astronomers, researchers, and even ordinary people began debating what could possibly explain it. Some suggested the star was surrounded by a massive, swirling cloud of dust or debris. Others thought it might be the remnants of shattered comets. But none of these explanations could fully account for the scale or irregularity of the dimming. And then, a bold, almost unthinkable theory surfaced. What if this wasn't natural at all? What if what we were seeing was the work of intelligence and advanced civilization harnessing the energy of a star itself? The idea sent shockwaves not only through the scientific community but through the imagination of millions. Because in all the millions of stars humanity has studied, none had ever behaved like this. None had defied the order of the cosmos so completely. Something was happening 1,470 light-years away, and whatever it was, it would challenge everything we thought we knew about the stars. The deeper astronomers looked at this strange star, the more unsettling the mystery became. Stars are supposed to be steady, dependable. Their light might vary slightly, but always for reasons science understands. Yet, T's star, his behavior shattered that expectation. Its dimming was not smooth, not regular. It was chaotic. Imagine standing beneath a lighthouse, where the beam of light should sweep across at steady intervals. But instead, the beam flickers wildly, sometimes vanishing altogether, sometimes pulsing with strange strength, as if someone or something were tampering with the source. When scientists charted the light from the star, the pattern looked unnatural. It wasn't like the gentle curve of a planet passing by. It wasn't like the slow fade of a dying star. It was sharp, sudden, and unpredictable. Something massive was interrupting the light, something big enough to block a quarter of the star's brilliance. To give you perspective, blocking 25% of a star's light would require an object larger than any planet in our solar system. It was as if a shadow, enormous and complex, was moving across the heavens. Some astronomers compared the light curve to giant hands drawing across the star, each dip like a finger dragging through the glow. Others saw the possibility of a vast structure, something that could not have formed naturally. This is why the idea of a Dyson sphere entered the conversation. A Dyson sphere is a hypothetical megastructure, theorized by physicist Freeman Dyson, where an advanced civilization builds colossal panels or satellites around a star to harvest its energy. If such a thing existed, the light of the star would dim irregularly, exactly like what was being observed. Of course, science is cautious. To leap straight to aliens would be reckless. Researchers proposed alternatives, perhaps clouds of dust, shattered planets, or comets breaking apart and orbiting unpredictably. Yet, every natural explanation had cracks. Dust could dim light, but not in such a deep, irregular way. Comets could block some brightness, but to dim 25% of a star would require tens of thousands of comets, perfectly aligned. The chances of this happening by accident were nearly impossible. The longer astronomers observed the star, the stranger the data became. It wasn't only dimming, it was also fading over time. Across decades, the star seemed to be slowly losing brightness, as if something was permanently draining its energy. This was no longer just a flicker, it was a pattern, a story unfolding in the night sky. And with every observation, the mystery deepened. Was this the signature of a dying star, gasping in ways we'd never seen before? Or was it evidence of something beyond our imaginations, something that would prove humanity was not alone? The universe, it seemed, had thrown us a riddle carved in light. A riddle so extraordinary that even the most logical minds couldn't help but wonder if, in that flickering glow, there was intention. As the mystery of the flickering stars spread across the world, scientists and dreamers alike began to craft theories. Each explanation, no matter how bold or cautious, carried with it a sense of urgency because whatever was happening 1,470 light-years away was unlike anything humanity had ever seen. The first and most grounded idea was dust. Perhaps the star was surrounded by an irregular cloud of cosmic dust, drifting and scattering its light in uneven ways. Dusts could dim a star, yes, but astronomers pointed out that the dips were far too deep. Dust tends to blur light, not carve sudden, sharp shadows. Moreover, dust scatters light differently at different wavelengths, and the star's strange flickering didn't match this behavior. Something wasn't adding up. Another theory pointed to comets' giant icy bodies orbiting the star. If a swarm of thousands of comets happened to cross in front of it, their tails might block the light in unpredictable ways. But for the star to dim by almost 25%, it would require an army of comets so perfectly aligned, so impossibly timed, that the odds were nearly zero. Astronomers admitted that this was more of a desperate stretch than a convincing explanation. Some researchers considered the star itself. Could it be going through a stage of evolution we had never documented before? Stars, after all, are not eternal. They are living furnaces that eventually wither and die. Perhaps this was a star, caught in a rare, violent transition, shedding massive amounts of material, gasping for survival. But even this didn't align perfectly with the evidence. Stars in transition usually show clear signatures, changes in temperature, color, or radiation. Tabby's star was strangely silent, behaving like a normal star except for the flickering. And then came the most daring idea of all. What if this was artificial? The term Dyson sphere began echoing in the halls of science and on headlines across the globe. First imagined by physicist Freeman Dyson, it describes a megastructure built by an advanced civilization, designed to surround a star and collect its immense energy. If even fragments of such a structure existed, they would block starlight in exactly the chaotic, irregular way we were seeing. For the first time in human history, some scientists allowed themselves to whisper the unthinkable. Could we be witnessing evidence of alien technology? The thought alone was electrifying. If true, It meant we were not alone in the universe, and not only that, but we were looking at beings so advanced, so powerful, that they could harness the light of an entire star. The idea stirred both wonder and fear. Were these hypothetical beings peaceful explorers, simply surviving as we do? Or were they something far beyond our understanding, with motives we could never grasp? Of course, science demanded caution. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Most astronomers still leaned toward natural explanations, however incomplete they seemed. But even so, the door had been opened. For the first time, a star had forced us to consider that perhaps, just perhaps, we were not the only intelligence to have gazed at the night sky and wondered. The flickering star had become more than an anomaly, it had become a mirror, reflecting our deepest hopes and our most profound fears. The universe has always humbled us, but this discovery touched something far deeper. For generations, humanity has gazed upward, dreaming of what might lie among the stars. We have written myths, built religions, and told stories that placed gods and spirits in the heavens. Later, with science, we replaced myth with measurement, comforted by the belief that the cosmos, though vast, was predictable. Then came the star, a silent rebel, flickering in ways that no law of physics could easily explain. And with it, the old wonder, the old fear, returned. For astronomers, it was both thrilling and unsettling. Imagine dedicating your life to studying the order of the skies, only to find something that tears apart the rulebook. Each dip in the star's light felt like a whisper from the unknown, as if the cosmos itself were asking a question we weren't ready to answer. Some scientists confessed that, for the first time, they truly felt what it meant to stare into mystery, to confront the possibility that our understanding was not only incomplete but, perhaps just a fragment of a much larger truth. For ordinary people, the news spread like wildfire. Headlines screamed of alien megastructures, and imaginations soared. Millions of hearts raced with excitement. Could this be the proof we had longed for? The sign that we were not alone. At the same time, a quieter, darker feeling spread. If there are beings advanced enough to build structures around stars, what does that make us teeny, fragile creatures clinging to a pale blue dot? Would we be like ants staring up at giants? The emotional weight was immense. For some, it was hope. The dream that perhaps there are civilizations out there who survived their struggles, who overcame war and destruction, who reached the stars and built wonders. We can only imagine. For others, it was fear that such civilizations might be indifferent to us, or worse, hostile. After all, history teaches us that when the powerful meet the weak, the outcome is rarely kind. But above all, it was wonder. A collective reminder that the universe is not a cold, silent void, but a living mystery filled with questions that tug at our deepest emotions. Oh, fear, joy, insignificance, curiosity, all were woven together in the glow of a single, flickering star. This anomaly had become more than a scientific puzzle. It had become a human experience. It reminded us that we are explorers, not only with our instruments, but with our hearts, that even in an age of technology and logic, we are still children of wonder, looking up at the night sky and whispering, what if? The flickering of this strange star did more than puzzle astronomers. Ignited a fire that continues to burn in the heart of science. When the mystery first unfolded, telescopes around the world turned their gaze toward Tabby's star, each desperate to capture more data, more clues. But soon, it became clear. This was not a riddle to be solved in a single night, or even a single decade. This was a long game, a patient unraveling of secrets written in the language of light. One of the first steps was to observe constantly. Ordinary stars can be studied in cycles, but this one demanded constant attention. Telescopes, like the Kepler Space Telescope and its successor missions, monitored every flicker, every shadow. Scientists mapped the dips in brightness, comparing them year after year, searching for patterns hidden in the chaos. And as the data grew, so did the mystery, because the star continued to defy every expectation. The next step was to expand the search. If one star could behave this strangely, perhaps there were others. With powerful instruments, like the Gaia spacecraft, astronomers began combing through the galaxy's catalog of stars, scanning millions for unusual dimming. And while a few odd candidates appeared, none were quite like Tabby's star. The fact that it was so unique made the mystery even deeper. Was it truly one of a kind, or had we simply not looked closely enough? Meanwhile, other scientists turned to the search for life. Radio telescopes, including those connected to SETI, searched for extraterrestrial intelligence, listened carefully for signals, scanning the space around Tabby's star for whispers of artificial communication. No clear message was ever detected, but the silence was just as powerful as any sound. It forced humanity to consider. If there was intelligence behind the dimming, maybe it was Senti trying to speak. Maybe we were only catching a glimpse of its shadow. New missions are on the horizon. Missions with instruments so sensitive they can peel back layers of starlight and uncover secrets invisible to us now. The James Webb Space Telescope and other future observatories promise to study stars in exquisite detail, perhaps even capturing the chemical fingerprints of alien worlds orbiting them. With each leap in technology, the possibility of solving this riddle grows stronger. But the future of the search is not only about sciency, it's about perspective. Every time we turn our eyes to that flickering star, we are reminded of our place in the universe. We are reminded that the answers we seek may not come quickly or clearly, but they will come if we are patient, if we keep searching, if we never let go of our curiosity. Perhaps one day, decades from now, we will finally know the truth. Perhaps we will discover that it was dust, or comets, or some dying breath of a star we had never seen before. Or perhaps, just perhaps, we will learn that we were looking at the work of intelligence beyond our imagination. Either way, the search will not end. Because the moment we discovered this anomaly, humanity's quest changed forever. We were no longer just observers of the stars, we became seekers of something greater, something that could redefine our very place in existence. In the end, the flickering of a single star has done more than challenge. Science it has awakened something deep within us. For centuries, we believed we had begun to understand the universe, that its rules were firm and its mysteries gradually giving way to human reason. But this anomaly reminded us of a profound truth. The cosmos is still far greater, stranger, and more alive than we can ever imagine. We have mapped millions of stars, measured their brightness, their distance, their age. We have charted galaxies billions of light years away. And yet, here's one star, just one, that refuses to fit into any pattern, that refuses to obey the rules we thought were universal. One star that reminds us how fragile our knowledge really is. This is the beauty and the terror of exploration. Every answer opens new questions. Every discovery humbles us. And yet, it is in that humility that we find our true greatness, not in conquering the universe, but in daring to wonder about it. We are a species of seekers, fragile creatures standing on a small blue world, yet bold enough to lift our eyes and ask, what if? Perhaps the star is dust. Perhaps it is comets. Perhaps it is a natural cycle we simply don't yet understand. But perhaps it is something more. Something that will one day prove that we are not alone. Whether or not the truth reveals itself in our lifetime, the flickering star has already given us a gift. It has rekindled our imagination. It has reminded us that we are part of a story written not only on Earth, but across the endless ocean of space. A story of birth, of mystery, of questions that reach beyond the stars. So the next time you step outside on a clear night, look up, see the familiar constellations, the endless scatter of light, and remember that somewhere far away, a star is flickering strange, unpredictable, and beautiful. A cosmic signal that whispers to us, not in words, but in wonder. There is more. Always more. And in that moment, you will feel what astronomers felt when they first discovered it, TOD. The fear and the unshakable hope that the universe still has secrets left to share. If this journey through the stars moved you, don't forget to subscribe and join us again as we explore the mysteries that lie beyond our fragile world. Because out there, in the silence of space, the greatest discoveries are still waiting.